What if I told you that your $30 an hour job isn't actually paying you $30 an hour, but closer to $4? That sounds insane at first, almost like some conspiracy theory. But once you see the math, you can't unsee it, and it changes the way you look at work forever. Most people think they understand how money works. You show up, you work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours, simple, clean, fair. That's the deal we've all been sold since we were kids. Study hard, get a good job, earn a steady paycheck. But hidden inside that simple equation is something most people never question. Because the paycheck you see is not the value you create. It's just a fraction of it. Imagine you walk into your job tomorrow and instead of getting paid hourly, your boss shows you exactly how much money you generate for the company every day. Not your wage, your actual output, the revenue tied to your role, the profit created from your time, your effort, your attention. For most people, that number would be shocking. If you make $30 an hour, you probably assume your work is worth around that amount. Maybe a little more. But in reality, companies are not built on fairness. They're built on margins. And for a business to survive, you have to produce far more than you're paid. Let's break it down. If you're earning $30 an hour, that's about $62,000 a year. Sounds solid, right? But your employer doesn't hire you because you're worth $62,000. They hire you because you generate significantly more than that. Often 2, 3, even 5 times more. That means your real value to the company might be $150,000, $200,000, sometimes even higher. So where does the rest go? That gap between what you create and what you're paid, that's where the system lives. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your hourly rate is just a surface level number, because once you factor in everything else, that $30 starts shrinking fast. Think about your commute. If you spend 1 hour going to work and 1 hour coming back, that's 2 unpaid hours every day. Suddenly, your 8-hour workday becomes 10 hours of your life. Your $30 an hour just dropped to $24. Now add in the mental load, thinking about work before you get there, stressing about deadlines after you leave, checking emails at night, that's time too, time you're not getting paid for. Now your real hourly rate is even lower. Then there's preparation, getting ready in the morning, buying work clothes, paying for transportation, maybe even eating out because you're too tired to cook. All of these are hidden costs tied directly to your job, and they quietly eat into your income. Let's say you spend $10 a day on food and coffee. That's $2,500 a year. Transportation, maybe another $3,000. Work-related expenses can easily add up to $5,000 or more annually. Now, your $62,000 salary is closer to $57,000. But remember, you're not working just 40 hours a week anymore. With commuting and mental load, it might be closer to 55 or 60 hours. So, when you divide your real income by your real time, that $30 an hour can drop below $15, sometimes even lower. And we're still not done, because there's something even bigger hiding in plain sight. Taxes. Before you even touch your money, a chunk of it is gone. Federal taxes, state taxes, payroll taxes. Depending on where you live, you might lose 20 to 30% of your income instantly. That $57,000 becomes maybe $42,000 in actual take-home pay. Now divide that by your real hours worked across the year, and suddenly you're not making $30 an hour. You might be making $12 or $10, or in some cases even less. And that's when the realization hits. You're not just selling your time, you're selling your energy, your focus, your freedom at a massive discount. But here's the part most people never think about. Why does this system exist in the first place? Why are you paid so much less than the value you create? Because the system isn't designed to make you rich. It's designed to make you replaceable. Think about it. If companies paid employees exactly what they were worth, there would be no profit left. No incentive to build a business, no reason to take the risk. So the entire structure is built on one simple principle. Pay people less than they produce, and keep them comfortable enough not to question it. That's why you get just enough to survive, enough to pay your bills, enough to upgrade your lifestyle slowly, enough to feel like you're making progress, but never enough to escape. It's a loop. You work, you get paid, you spend, you repeat. And because it feels normal, you don't stop to question it. But once you see the gap between what you earn and what you're worth, everything changes. Now, this doesn't mean jobs are evil or that working is bad. That's not the point. The real problem is believing that your job is your only path to wealth, because it's not. Your job is just one income stream, and usually the weakest one. It's limited by time, limited by someone else's decision, limited by a ceiling you don't control, and no matter how hard you work, you're still trading hours for dollars. That's the trap. The wealthy don't escape this by working harder. They escape it by changing the game. Instead of trading time, they build systems. Instead of earning per hour, they earn per outcome. Instead of being paid once for their effort, they get paid over and over again. That's the difference. Let's say you write a piece of software. It takes you 100 hours to build. At $30 an hour, that's $3,000 worth of work. But if that software generates $100,000 in revenue, your hourly rate just changed completely. Now you're not earning $30 an hour. You're earning $1,000 an hour. Same effort, different structure. That's why some people break out of the system and others stay stuck in it for decades. It's not about intelligence. It's not about luck. It's about leverage. Leverage is what turns your time into something bigger. It could be code, content, investments, businesses, anything that allows your effort to scale beyond a single hour. Without leverage, you're capped. With leverage, there's no ceiling. And once you understand this, going back to a pure hourly mindset feels limiting, because now you can see the trade clearly. You give up control, they give you stability, you give up upside, they give you predictability, and for many people, that's a fair trade. But only if you know what you're giving up. The real danger is not the job itself. It's thinking that the job is enough, because inflation doesn't care about your salary. Expenses don't stay still. Life gets more expensive over time, and if your income only grows slowly, you're constantly playing catch-up. That's why people making $100,000 still feel broke, because the time is still the bottleneck. And no matter how high your hourly rate goes, there are still only 24 hours in a day. So what's the way out? It starts with awareness, understanding that your paycheck is not your true value, that your time is more flexible than you've been taught, and that you don't have to rely on one source of income forever. From there, it becomes a shift in behavior. Instead of spending all your free time recovering from work, you start investing a small portion of it into building something. Something that doesn't depend on your hourly presence. It won't be easy at first, because you're tired, because you're busy, because the system is designed to keep you that way. But even 1 hour a day, consistently, can change everything over time. Because that hour is different. That hour is not sold, it's owned, and owned time is where leverage is built. Maybe it's learning a skill, maybe it's starting a side project, maybe it's investing in assets that grow without your constant input. It doesn't matter what the path is. What matters is that you step outside the loop, even slightly, because once you do, you start to see opportunities that were invisible before. You start to question things you once accepted, and slowly your relationship with work begins to change. You stop chasing higher hourly pay and start chasing higher value. You stop asking, how can I make more per hour? And start asking, how can I make money without trading my time directly? That's the shift. And it's not overnight, but it's powerful, because over time, those small shifts compound. Your side income grows, your skills improve, your options expand, and one day, you realize something surprising. You're no longer dependent on that $30 an hour. It becomes a choice, not a necessity. And that's when the system loses its grip on you, because the real goal was never to stop working. It was to stop being trapped, to stop undervaluing your time, to stop living in a loop you didn't consciously choose. So the next time you look at your paycheck, don't just see the number. Ask yourself a different question. How much value did I actually create? And how much of it did I keep? Because that gap is where your future is hiding. And if this changed the way you see work, then you're already thinking differently than most people. Stay curious, keep questioning, and start building something that works for you, not just something you work for.